Welcome to the MYD Show. I am Kirsty Watermeyer, and I'm delighted to be welcoming you as we together are about to hear an incredible Namibian inspirational story. I'm joined in studio right now by 99FM's own Treza Cooper. Treza is an acclaimed Namibian singer, and also she is our on-air DJ on 99FM. But a woman with an incredible story to share. So thank you for coming to share it with us, Treza.
It's a pleasure, Kirsty. Thanks for having me.
An example of mastering your own destiny.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to share this. So let's start at the beginning, Treza. The very beginning. Where were you born?
Well, Kirsty, I was born here in Windhoek. I was born in Windhoek City, and I lived with my mom in Kadatura. I moved around Kadatura, Kommersdal. So I grew up most of my life here in Windhoek City. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And what was your childhood like?
Well, very basic childhood. You know, I was sort of like a tomboy when I was a younger girl. And what had happened was my family was very close. You know, we lived in a very small house in Kommersdal, very modest house, small neighborhood. Everybody knew everybody. And it was for me. It was a bit of a reminder of how things is supposed to be in families, how families are supposed to be like. But my family was a very tight-knit one. I grew up with a single mother, but she met my stepfather. They fell in love, and we ended up living together with myself, my two younger brothers, and we lived in Kommersdal, in the house in Kommersdal, until my mom passed away. And that's when I was 12, I think, I moved to the Namibian Children's Home. It's a children's home in Eros Park, and I lived there for like 8 years.
Okay. Yeah. From the age of 12?
From the age of 12, turning 13, yeah.
And what was it like? Let's take us back to the moment, 12 years old, losing your mom.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was probably one of the hardest, lowest times in my life. You know, I was very close with my mom. I was her only daughter at the time, and it was difficult for me to not have her around, you know, because of how close we were, and also because of, just having a person there that you know has your best interest at heart anytime in your life. And when she passed, I think I took it harder than my brothers did because they were so young at the time. They were really young at the time, so I don't really think they understood the impact at that moment. But growing up without her and moving to the children's home, in the beginning, I thought it was going to be, an issue. It was going to be a problem for me because I was like, I have to move to this new place now with all these kids I don't know, with all these people I don't know. It was hard. I lost my mom. I had to go live with people I don't know, strangers. And for the first year, it took some getting used to. It took some getting used to, there's a bunch of kids there, each one with their own story, each one with their own background of why they're there, Mine was I had lost my mom, and my family couldn't take me in because they also had, too many mouths to feed. They couldn't take me in because of finances and stuff like that. So I was placed in the home by a social worker from the Ministry of Gender Equality. And the first year, it was tough, I was the odd one out. It took me a while to warm up to the house mothers. But essentially, the children's home, for the 8 years I was living there, it made me, it shaped me. In high school, I became head girl of my high school because of the children's home, because it made me an outspoken person. I was involved in, I was a youth activist as well. I did a speech for the Minister of Gender Equality once. It was on TV. I engaged in a lot of extra curricular activities in school. I was in the debate society, so I was quite busy in high school when I was at the children's home. And it was because of the people, the house mothers. The house mothers in the home, even though the children there weren't their own, some of them really went out of their way to make you feel like, that she was your mom and he was your father, because each house at the children's home had a mother figure and a father figure.
Okay.
Just to, to keep the spirit of a family alive in the lives of these kids who didn't have moms and dads that were looking after them. So the house mothers, they essentially taught us how to cook. They taught us how to cook, how to bake. They taught us that it's important to, while you're cooking, to keep the kitchen clean, keep your bedroom clean, So a lot of things that I didn't have when my mom was gone, I got to have with these women who weren't my mothers. They weren't my mom. They didn't give birth to me, but they still treated me like I was their daughter. And it's because of them that I'm sitting here where I'm sitting right now.
That's so beautiful, and it's a message of the importance of community and how we need to support one another to really raise up communities.
Yeah, indeed.
But what was the defining factor, Trez, in the sense of, as a 12-year-old girl, to have to go through this experience? Some people would look at this and say, this has happened to me, and would rebel. And you decided, I'm going to take all this information and I'm going to use it so that I can excel myself.
Yeah. No, trust me, there were a lot of times where I was discouraged, Kirsty. A lot of times, you know, and every time there was a point in my life where I had a low moment, I would always just tell myself, I'm capable of a lot. I'm capable to do great things, and that kind of kept me going, you know. I like I said, I was in high school. I failed grade 12, by the way. I failed grade 12. A lot of people were disappointed in me because they saw me being this ambitious young girl who was doing all these things. But how could she be so smart and fail grade 12? So it kind of also made me feel less worthy of love, of acceptance and stuff like that. I went to NAMCO. I did feel disappointed in myself. I mean, it wasn't something that I thought would happen, because I really did have everything planned out. I was going to pass grade 12. I was going to go study this specific, because I wanted to be a doctor. And I was like, no, I'm going to make sure that I get the marks to be able to go study medicine at UNAM. And unfortunately, it didn't happen like that. Other things happened. I went to NAMCO, did some subjects over there, and then I ended up going to UNAM. And I did a course that I also wouldn't dream of doing. I would probably do communications or anything other than that, but I ended up doing a diploma course in records and archives management. And you're probably asking yourself, Treza, but why? Like, why are you doing something that just doesn't, fit your personality? And at some point, I also almost gave up on the degree, on the diploma. I was like, why am I doing this? This is something I want to do. But I pushed through. I did it for 4 years. I graduated. I got the diploma. And seeing, it's moments like that showed me that, I find myself in a moment or in a rut where I didn't think I would come out of. But then a lot of factors, mainly the support from the children's home, really gave me that extra oomph to just keep on pushing and keep on doing things for myself, for my brothers, for my family, to make my mom proud, to make the people proud who invested in me, their time, their emotion and things like that. So much of my life, I've always been kind of a people pleaser. I always want to make people happy. Whenever I fail, I'm more angry at the fact that I failed and made someone feel disappointed in me than it being more for myself. So I wanted to prove to people that despite where I came from, being in a children's home, as much as people would think it'll keep you back, it won't help you go forward, or it won't allow you to do things that I'm doing currently right now in my life. So I really owe much of who I am today to the house mothers at the children's home for,
And also your own internal drive for what you have pushed forward for. Treza, is there anything that, if you are in that moment of feeling disappointed with yourself, as has happened before, that you use, that you fall back on to help bring you out of that space so that you can overcome whatever you're dealing with?
It's family. I have 2 younger brothers. We used to be really close when we were younger, and now we're all older now. They're both working, and but they're always there. Whenever I find myself in a moment where I just want to give up on life, it is my brothers, it's my aunt. Very close family, very spiritual family. They pray and they motivate. They tell you, listen, it's okay. You're here now, but you're not going to be here forever. And it's things like that kind of kept me believing that things are going to get better, no matter what's happening right now, whatever circumstance you're finding yourself in right now. It's not permanent. It is going to get better, but you also need to want it to get better. Yeah. And so I needed it. I wanted it to get better. And so it got better.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
We're going to take a very short break now. Do stay with us. We'll be back with more from Treza Cooper. She's going to be sharing with us where it was that she found singing. Do stay with us. Welcome back to the MYD Show. We're sitting down with Treza Cooper, an inspirational young Namibian woman who has really made so much of her life because she decided to.
Yeah.
We're going to hear a moment. Well, now we'd like to hear about the singing.
The singing.
So tell us about, when did you start singing? Because you're such an acclaimed Namibian singer, headlining at Song Night and performing at so many events and wowing audiences.
Yeah.
When did this start?
Well, like I told you, Kirsty, I had a karaoke machine when I was young. My father bought me one for my birthday, and I played around with it. You know, I was also very involved in music in terms of being infatuated with music videos and artists and what they do, how they sing. In high school, a friend of mine, a friend and I would always sit in class at the back of the class and we'll do like duets, sing, and then people would always say, Treza, but you have a really nice voice. You should think about, doing something serious with it. And at the time, I didn't really think about doing it because I was grade 10, all I could think about at the time was school and books and passing grade 10 and stuff like that. So I didn't really care much about, performing and stuff like that. I only really started, singing for real when I joined the choir, a local choir called Trinity Celebration. And in the choir, I learned how to use my voice, vocal warm-ups, singing in the choir. It helped a lot to kind of find my voice. I also did a lot of features with some artists. I actually did a song with Cannibal, who's a local artist as well. And it started really to get more serious when I started doing live performances at Carper Box. With Song Night, Lisa Ellers, she actually trusted me to be a part of Song Night, because Song Night, it's a brilliant platform for local artists, especially if you want to take singing seriously, to kind of find your voice, because you get to perform with a live band. I was just always fascinated with live music, the live aspect of it. And so my voice and being able to sing, because I'm a very shy person, Kirsty. People don't know this about me. I'm actually a very shy person. I talk a lot to kind of hide my shyness. And when it comes to singing, when I'm on stage, that kicks in even worse, because I have this internal voice that tells me sometimes that, no, you're going to suck, don't do it. And then I stand on stage, and then the only thing that helps me the most is talking to the people, because I talk. So when I talk to them, it kind of calms me down. So the singing thing kind of also helps me get out of my little, cocoon. It helps me interact with people a bit more. People always tell me that the music I sing or the songs that I sing made them feel some type of way, made them feel a certain way about a loved one or someone that they might miss. So the singing thing really, it's helped me in so many ways, because I also got to meet so many people. And because of my job, I also know so many artists in the industry, and most of them also encourage me to do more with my voice, which is what I'm planning on doing this year. Release a couple of songs finally, to get my music out there for people to kind of know Treza as an artist more, and not only Treza as a radio presenter, because I have been doing radio for quite a while. I've been around, so people mostly know me as Treza, the radio presenter. They don't know me as Treza, the singer. So I'm kind of trying to build that part of my life as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's wonderful that singing is such an opportunity to really find your voice, as you said right now. And I've heard that before, that when you connect in with yourself and find your voice and then facing your fears. But tell us, how is it that you overcame your fears and really stepped into your power on stage?
Well, again, Song Night. I feel like the more I performed, the better it got for me to be on stage and to kind of just kick the nerves to the curb, and friends who always attend my show. My brothers actually attended one of my shows for the first time last year. Okay. And they were like, we didn't know you could sing like that. Since when do you sing like that? Like, what happened, And they were really surprised to see that their sister had this amazing voice. So it essentially was people like that, my brothers, my friends who all have seen me on stage, who've told me, Treza, you really have a great voice. You have something. And yes, you'd be a fool not to make use of it, So it's family, it's friends, it's just really wanting to do this music thing, Kirsty, because I love music. I love it so much that it is kind of it's a therapy for me. It's what helps me sometimes forget about my problems, forget about any pain I might be feeling. I listen to music. When I had my heart broken, it was music that got me through the heartbreak. So it's small things like that, like the musical aspect of when people say music is more than just sounds and someone singing. It really is something that can change the world. And that's why I feel like I need to, and I want to finally, give Treza to the world in terms of putting my music out there and for people to finally hear, some of my own stuff, which is what's been happening. I'm busy with it right now, and I really can't wait for everybody to hear.
And we can't wait either. I hope you know that.
Yeah.
Treza, what would you say was the single most important piece of advice that you ever received?
Be yourself. The world it's so tough, Kirsty. Being yourself is very difficult. It's not easy to be who you are in every aspect of that statement. Being who you are. One person, a lot of people actually, mostly my mom, told me that be who you are. This is who you are. You stutter. In Afrikaans, ek kan nie Afrikaans praat nie, want as ek Afrikaans praat dan breek. So I speak English because it makes it easier for me to communicate with people. I've also accepted that is who I am. Ek breek. It's something I can't take it away. But I've mastered English so that I can do the job I do. And also kind of be the quirky person that I am on air, because it helps me a lot, Like I told you, I'm a shy person, but I'm a people's person. I love people. I love talking to people, and I find it easier to be myself and for them to receive who Treza is. It's much easier because it makes the relationship much easier as well. So the best advice I've ever gotten, and the best advice I can give to anybody who's going to see this episode, is to be yourself, because there's no one like you. You are the only you there is. No matter, even if you have an identical twin, there is some sort of difference between the two of you. And that's something I think our individuality, our identity is something that is precious.
Absolutely. And when we become authentic about our identity, it becomes powerful.
Exactly.
Powerful and precious.
Powerful and precious. That's right.
Love that so much. Talking about advice, Treza, as a person who's gone through some really difficult times in her life, what would your advice be to any young boys or girls out there that are watching this, that are also going through a really desperate time in their life?
Yeah. I'll say to them, listen, life is tough. Life is tough. It is. Unfortunately, this is a fact. We can never take that away. But I would tell them right now that don't let anybody ever tell you your dreams aren't valid, because we dream. We go to bed. We dream about what we want in our lives, what we want to have, our aspirations. The kind of jobs and families we want to have. All I can say is that never stop dreaming and never ever stop pushing. Whatever it is that you're passionate about. I think our passion, if you're passionate about drawing, if you're passionate about singing, if you're passionate about finances, if you're passionate about whatever it is that you find yourself love to your core, pursue it. No matter what it is going on. If your family wants you to do this, do it. But on the side, do what you love. Because essentially, I feel like if you're going to do a job, you can't do a job if you're not going to enjoy it. If you're not going to wake up every morning telling yourself that I can't wait to get to work. I'm excited because I know I love my job. So I think it's essential for young girls and young boys, especially, the kids from the children's home, that I, for instance, never planned on being a radio presenter. It was not something, I didn't plan it. Radio presenting chose me. I didn't choose the career. So it's unpredictable. Life is unpredictable as well. As much as we plan for things to happen, we never really know what's going to happen because no one can predict the future. Yeah. So all I can say is that believe in yourselves. Be who you are. Always, always, always be who you are. No matter what the circumstances are, no matter where you find yourself in the world, being yourself is going to open doors for you. Being humble, being yourself, reaching for the stars, reaching for your dreams, pushing forward, whatever circumstances you're going through, whatever problem it is, And the thing is, unfortunately, we all go through different things, Kirsty. My problem might be very little, but someone else might be going through something way worse, but they still push through. So I think we need to also think about things like that. People who are going through worse things than you might think you are. And these people are waking up every morning. They're waking up every morning to push through, to push forward. So I would say to every young girl, every young boy, that do the same, do the same, push forward, push for your dreams. Don't let anybody stand in your way. Don't let anybody prevent you from getting what you want, because the only person who really is standing in your way is yourself.
Exactly. And that's some really good advice, because we would be the only ones stopping ourselves.
Exactly.
And our passions and our dreams, it's like our compass, our navigation that gets us to the place where we can be in bliss.
Yeah.
We're going to take another very short break. Do stay with us. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the MYD Show. I'm Kirsty Watermeyer and I'm chatting to Treza Cooper, Namibian singing sensation and on-air presenter at 99 FM.
Yeah.
Treza, what's your take on self-love?
Phew. Yeah, I think, my take on self-love is a very broad question, but let me answer it for you anyway. Well, to be honest with you, Kirsty, if we're being honest right now, I've never really, it took me a while to kind of learn to love myself. I think it's a learning process to love yourself completely, unconditionally, before you love anybody else. Because sometimes we invest so much of our energies and of our time and our emotions in other people that we forget about ourselves. What do I need as a person? What do I need to make myself feel good? What's going to make me happy? And focusing on that for once, because it's good to be selfish sometimes. It's okay to be selfish sometimes. You don't always have to worry about other people. If you're not doing well, what are you doing for yourself? How are you taking care of yourself? How are you loving yourself? And it can be things. It's easy. Simple things like getting a massage. Getting a massage just for you to unwind. Getting a good book to read.
Absolutely.
And just,
Treza, today I was reading something that was saying even how you eat your food shows you how you love yourself. How do
Small
you
things
nourish
like that.
yourself?
Yeah. And it's true, and I think when you also need to start, from a young age, it's a really broad thing, Self-love, it's a lot of things. Loving your body, loving your ears, loving the way you smile, loving the way you walk, loving the way you laugh. Maybe you have a quirky laugh, and sometimes you don't want to laugh in front of people because your laugh is a bit, it's a bit crazy, but that's who you are, and it shows who you are as a person, who Kirsty is as a person, because certain things about you, no one else is ever going to have. So we need to learn to love who we are, what we are, where we are in life as well, for us to move forward.
And also our differences, because our differences make us special.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Treza, at the moment our theme is love and knowledge.
Yeah.
How do you think we can use love and knowledge to break the cycle of pain in our lives?
Sharing stories like these. I think the MYD show it's been doing so many amazing things. Taking Namibian stories and taking it to the people around the country, and people sharing about their pain, their failures, and stuff like that. I think sharing. We need to share. We need to share the knowledge. We need to share the love and explain. In my case right now, like I told you earlier, it took me a while to actually talk about my story. And I think that I decided to do it now because I feel like it's time for the world to come together and share stories. Failures, share especially failures, because as much as we want to be successful, we also need to focus on the failures. Where did I fail? What did that failure mean for me? How did it change me?
And how am I going to grow from it?
How am I going to grow from that? Exactly. Yeah. So we need to share. I think that for me would be what I would say to make the world a better place, is to share stories, and not only, like I mentioned, not only talk about your successes. Try and also give the person the insight, or give people insights of where things went wrong for them to go right.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love that. Treza, it's been so insightful having you in studio. I really love the fact that you have taken the time to share your extremely inspirational story with us. Tell us, we would like to know, we've got a few more things before we wrap up, but one of them is, where are you going to? What's the plan? You're busy recording?
Yeah. The plan is definitely to get the music out there. A lot of performances coming up. And I also do work for 99 FM, so we have a lot of things planned for the year as well, and I'm excited to see what 99 has to offer this year, But definitely coming up, or things that will be coming up for me in the future, is definitely going to be my music. I'm going to finally record an album. I'm going to finally, let people hear, because I would call myself a perfectionist of some kind, but not really so badly that I won't put the music out there for people to actually, hear it and criticize it if they must, and give positive criticism. But that's definitely in the pipeline.
Fantastic.
Releasing some music for the Namibian market.
And we're going to hear a little bit from you just as we end the program. But before we do, the last question is your message, and specifically for anybody from the children's home that is listening right now. What would your message be, Treza?
Don't let the circumstances that you find yourself in right now define who you're going to be one day, because it's not the case. Wherever you are right now, it's not who you're going to be in the next 5 years. You're going to be in a different place in the next 5 years. And I just want to tell, especially the girls, I want to motivate women more, because it's International Women's Day, this month, and it's all about motivating and encouraging you know, these young kids and anybody, generally anybody, not just kids, but everybody, that, you know, wherever we find ourselves, wherever we are finding ourselves at this moment in time, it's not where we're meant to be forever. So I would just encourage anybody just to keep pushing on, keep pushing forward, you know. Don't let, you know, hardship be the defining factor for how your future is going to turn out, because it's not the case, you know. Yeah. We are a strong country. We are strong in the sense that we are unified. We're getting unified now. So yeah.
Let's keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.
I love it. It's been so wonderful having you in studio. Thank you so much for coming to share your inspiration with us. And we're going to hear a little something from you in a moment as we close off the show. In the meantime, I'd like to say thank you for joining us. It's been wonderful being in your company again. And from me, Kirsty Watermeyer, until we meet again, remember that it begins and it ends with love, because love is what you are. Take it away, Treza.
The song I'm going to sing is Camouflage by Brandy, and it kind of describes somewhat who I am. These flaws I got, they're a part of who I am. Take me all night. Now I finally understand. I'm so done trying to be everything you want, but I got to stop. 'Cause baby, you ain't worth it if I gotta camouflage.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Treza.
It's a pleasure.
Wonderful.
Thank you
so much. Awesome.
Thank you, Kirsty.